Test 1, 2, 3. Microphone is working. And we are live. We are live on both YouTube and Shorts, supposedly. Which is weird. Noticeable delay on the stream, I guess. Hello, Tech with Malud. Hello, Saul Goonman. Hello, it's Crixon. Hello, Mini House. I'm doing quite well. Thank you for asking. Hello, SKGJ. Hello, Wiz Engineer. Hello, Go Cool. Today, we're continuing Kubernetes. And today is the day that we are going to turn our very basic cluster into something that resembles a platform. Hello, Haas. Hello, KX. All right, let me see what we got going on here. Let me fix this up. Fix the chat. Make that nice and big. Am I learning Kubernetes for the first time? Yeah, the past week or so, it's been my first time learning Kubernetes. And last stream we had a successful deployment of the entire cluster from just one click into Amazon, and we had servers running and you know, some apps doing things. Hello, Steadfast. Thank you. Appreciate that you like my content. Fuad. Hey, chat, should I pick data engineering or software engineering? Whichever you like more, I guess. Do I know the company Nielsen? I don't know Nielsen. Oh, you said I have a cool architecture? Are you that? I don't understand this question. Are you that you are improving on this learning trip? You're missing maybe a verb or something. Do they have a like engineering blog where they post about their architecture? Articles? Case studies? Where can I see something about their architecture? Let me know. Have I heard of Soding? Yes, of course I have. Anyone know what step he's on? We have completely deployed a working Kubernetes stack in one click, cluster, control plane workers, and application pods, everything fully working from one click on the build. And the next step that I want to look at now is platformatizing what we have. And what that means is instead of having to write, let me show you. Instead of having to write all of these YAML files, I would like something a bit nicer. So let's say I wanted to make my own platform as a service that people are going to have a good experience using that platform. That's basically my goal, my next goal. I did get Gemini to write a plan, sort of. I told it to make 2-hour chunks for each of these. Maybe these are a bit easier than 2 hours each, but we'll see. So the first one is getting kubevela controller on the cluster, and then using the CLI locally to write an application manifest and whatever else. May I ask, why did you consider taking this step and changing your career? This isn't really a change in my career at all. Kubernetes isn't DevOps, and DevOps is not a role either. DevOps is not a noun, and I'll probably be making a video about that very soon. Hello, Otaku. So, yeah. The step we're on right now is to get kubevela onto our cluster. We got the game server running yesterday, and I logged onto it, and also someone from the chat logged onto it, so it 100% worked. Right now, I'm actually waiting for this cluster to come up, and it is not, but that's fine. Yeah. I don't know what's going on here, actually. We'll just hit this again. Oh, we have a bunch of load balancers. I think these are old ones left around. Perhaps. What DevOps tool next am I planning to learn? Nothing planned. Did you see a bunch of wait and sleeps checking for the pod? It was the API server that it's trying to hit. And apparently that's not too healthy right now. I think maybe I didn't clean up the environment last time when I destroyed it. Or I think, oh, that's right. I didn't deprovision everything. I actually just stopped the server. So actually, if I just start this one again, and if I go to the ASG, and I allow it to scale, I shouldn't need to do any bootstrapping. Any reason not using probes to just tell you when it's ready? Yeah, I know about readiness probes, but this build is like, it's supposed to make the infrastructure and then check whether that infrastructure is ready for bootstrapping. But actually, I'm glad this step failed because I don't need to bootstrap anything. I currently don't need to bootstrap anything because I only shut down the servers overnight. So I just have to restart them again. What's one thing you'd choose Lightsail over EC2 for? Lightsail? I don't know what Lightsail is. Amazon Lightsail. I've never used it. Is that what it is? Virtual cloud server built for reliability. Is this like you own the whole hardware or something? Doesn't look like it. I don't know why I'd use that for. But yeah, so if we just look at maybe, which one was it? This one? Was it this one? Maybe it was this one. I wonder if the pod is up and running. Why in EC2 and not in EKS? For learning, or you would have used EKS for production? Let me ask you a different question. If EKS didn't exist, what would you do? Use virtual machines? Yeah. You know, imagine it's 2015 and you really like Kubernetes, but it's too hard to use a control plane. Like, what would you do? Let me ask you another question, okay? You currently own a platform as a service company. Let's call your company Heroku. And you're running all of your infrastructure on bare metal in the data center with racks that you own, distributed around the globe. You want to use Kubernetes. Do you use EKS? But all of your infrastructure is in your own racks. How do you use Kubernetes then? Does anyone know? Because as far as I understand, there's no on-prem EKS. Minikube? Is that where you put Kubernetes on just one server? How do you schedule your pods across all of your bare metal hardware? So that if one of those machines, its power supply blows up, how do you make sure those pods are still getting traffic? Can Minikube and K3S handle that situation? Someone mentioned Rancher. Was it two? Rancher is okay. On-prem plus Rancher. You can use EKS anywhere. On my own racks? EKS anywhere. Oh, that's interesting. So someone's clearly already asked this question, and Amazon has decided to answer it by saying, give us even more money. That's crazy. Does anyone know what EKS costs compared to running your own EC2? Equinox. Why is there an article here by Equinox? It costs a lot more? Like, do you know roughly? EKS charges a flat 10 cents an hour, which is $72 a month. or it's managed control plane. So that's just the control plane. That's fine. I mean, that's okay, I think. But there's going to be more. So you have to have, wait, self-managed. La 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 la. $73 a month. Choose self-managed if you're running a single node sandbox, want to avoid lock-in or require hyper-specific control plane configurations, not supported by EKS. Amazon EKS Anywhere. Enterprise subscriptions are available for a 1-year term at $24,000 per cluster, or for a 3-year term at $18,000 per cluster per year. That's crazy. That's support though, I think, right? So you're basically paying Amazon. Here's our pods working. This is one of our pods. We have a cat server for random cats. But as you can see, we don't have a nice DNS name. Did I miss any chats? We had EKS, our DUSS rack. That's cool, man. That's cool that they have EKS anywhere. But yeah, just think about the fact that if Amazon decided it wasn't worth the money to do that, you would have to do it yourself. More cats, please. Gaming cat. All right. So let's explore how to combine kubevela. Have you guys heard of kubevela? Have you seen this? Some of you for sure have seen this because you guys have told me all kinds of stuff like Backstage and Cube Spray and Crossplane. I've looked into a lot of the stuff that you guys have suggested. Some of them are cool and whatnot. Well, this one, kubevela, apparently this is the way that you turn your Kubernetes cluster into a proper platform. And I haven't fully looked into it, but let's just say this Hello World app. I haven't looked at any of this yet. It looks pretty much like normal kube stuff. Okay, so this is, I guess, kind of what it's selling is that you can have components, and then the components can have traits. And basically, if I understand correctly, each component has a type, and you define what this type is. So you might have a team of 1,000 devs, and you decide you want to have a type of web service and a type of some other kind of app or deployment, I suppose. Let's maybe look at, like, where's the definitions? Where are the definitions of these things? A web app component written in Python. Determine component type. Choose traits. Assemble components. Component properties. Looks similar to Nginx config. We have Amazon S3 copy open source plus self-hostable. Nice. Never heard about it, only use Tecton. I've heard of Tecton as well. Do you usually check project health on CNCF before starting to use it? if you check, not really, not really. Like this could disappear, I suppose. It could never take off. I think this one's incubating at the moment. So I'm not too sure. So we could just be using something that is, yeah, it's an incubation project. Probably need a license for enterprise use. That comes with support. Yeah. Love from Darwin. Cool, man. How's it going in Darwin? I've never been to the Northern Territory or anywhere near there. Have I ever been into research? What do you mean exactly? Like formal research? Can't say I have. So it's saying before starting, please confirm that you've installed kubevela and enabled the Vela UX add-on. So it's kind of like an interface. It comes with an interface and a command line tool. It's just tools glued on top of tools in the Kubernetes world, apparently. Well, let's see. We've got components of a certain type, and then we have traits on those components. And then we have policies. Linux distro is Pop! OS, which reminds me to put my link. I'm hoping to create like a chatbot soon that answers some of these queries, but yeah. Kubevela is a layer of abstraction above Kubernetes to make it easier for managing apps. Yeah, as far as I understand, it's going to turn Kubernetes into more of a easy to use platform. Not for the operators, but for the users of it. So what do we got here? We got policies, clusters, namespace, and then this is a topology, and then we've got an override, and then we have a workflow with steps. I don't know what any of this means so far. And then this is the interface that it has, which is, it looks pretty cool, I would say. Got deployment, replica set, endpoints, pods, and the cluster looks interesting. All right, installation guide, let's see. So already have a cluster, and then it relies on Kubernetes as a control plane. It could be whatever. I didn't know all these are available. Oh, here we go. Rancher K3S. Is that who makes K3S? Rancher makes K3S. So with my configs here via the YAMLs in Kubevela, the built image from CI pipeline, then we'll spin up instances in the cloud on our behalf. The built image from the pipeline. It's going to schedule pods to run on Kubernetes or something like that. We're yet to see. We'll find out in a moment. So it is saying install the CLI, then install the core, which we can use with Helm. Let's see advanced installation, because we might have to use advanced installation. Okay, let's give old Gemini a crack. So if we push out a change, it's going to get pulled in by Argo CD. So I shouldn't have to run any of these actions. We should just have to push something up to Git, and it'll pull it in. I'm actually kind of keen to like finish this exploration into Kubernetes, but I think I won't be satisfied until I have like a pretty thorough understanding of the whole ecosystem and the proper ways of doing everything. If you guys think that EKS is really the way that like most places should go, I'll probably try EKS as well, just to see what the difference is. Is there a running doc or notes capturing this Kubernetes series of streams? What you've learned so far? No, I haven't done that. I actually, well, all of the streams have been uploaded, so you can watch them, but they are long. But my plan is basically to, like, rather than you having to follow along every single moment, for me to, for me to distill down everything I've learned into a video, and for that, I just have to keep exploring. But hopefully I can distill it into a much more compressed video than all of the hours that I've spent so far. Checked online, and yes, pairing it with Terraform. I'm not using Terraform, I'm just using Pulumi. Oh. EKS forces you to update Kubernetes version since they control the control plane nodes. Yeah, fair enough. Is updating painful? What am I drinking? It was just water, but I'm drinking it out of a fancy cup. It's trying to download. Yeah, this is fine. Do I understand the basic primitives of Kubernetes? Deployments, replica sets, pods, ingresses, config maps, and secrets? Yeah, I mean, generally. Deeply, probably not, but probably out of those, replica sets is what I'm probably the least familiar with, to be honest. For updating nodes, you have to drain the pods, coordinate recoordinate nodes. That does sound annoying. How do you manage the dual write thing? What's the dual write thing? Can a beginner start learning from this? Maybe. I'd probably wait for my summary video, to be honest. The journey to learning all this stuff has been pretty annoying. Should I learn Vim in 2026? Yeah, why not? Is there much to learn with Vim? Am I planning to do certs? Maybe. I do have a subscription to learn. I've got like a course that I can do online for the Certified Kubernetes Administrator. What is this doing right now? Why Gemini instead of Opus? No reason really. Just asking, what's this? Learn Vim motions. Yes, learn Vim motions. I'm currently in IT support. Which role should I focus if I want to go toward distributed system? Like solution architect, backend infra, DevOps, etc. Which role I should focus? It's more about the topics, and you've already listed the topics there, so you should, yeah, look for books relating to those topics, and then try things in your current workplace and that kind of thing. It's annoying because we have to wait for deployments and pipelines to finish, and it takes a long time. Are you talking about the updates, the Kubernetes version updates? Hello, Dan. Am I going to be full-time content creator? No. Agentic AI with multiple agents to do end-to-end workflow. Did you ever do this in Atlassian? No. EKS forcing you to upgrade Kubernetes version is probably a good thing. Also, they provide the easiest way to upgrade the version. It is well managed, zero downtime stuff. Sounds cool. I'll give it a try in a bit. Yeah, I can teach in our style. Do you feel that we still need to... Right, what's going on here? Do I have a schedule? I don't have a schedule for my streams at the moment. CKA is so expensive. How expensive is it? How much does it cost? Show us how to build and deploy the production apps with the full senior level skills. No audio? My audio is definitely working. Is Rust worth learning? Yes, of course it is. Yes. Switched to Vim a year ago. Now every other editor sucks. Yeah, I switched to Vim maybe 2 years ago. 2 or 3 maybe? Actually, I can't remember when. It costs $450. That seems okay. It sucks if you don't pass the exam though. That's a bit brutal. I don't know anything about C#. Once you get into top companies and money is not the problem, how do you get your motivation? I think that's where you really have to just be interested in what you're doing. You have to be more interested in things like scale, efficiency, reliability than you are in the money. And then those things naturally become their own reward. Do I think CKA is worth it? I have no idea. I don't have one. When are we going to have the Factorio stream? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I should stream games here on YouTube or on Twitch. Which tool do I use to look at large diffs? I'm not sure if I have it here. Let me see. Okay, apparently... Okay, this is the basic one. There's another one called... Let me... Git... Delta? Yeah, Git Delta is a good one if you want a tool. Git Delta is nice. The last Factorio stream on Twitch didn't go very well. Yeah. I'm not very good at Factorio. So if you're going to watch me play Factorio, you're going to just watch me struggling. And it might be really frustrating. YouTube much better. Future is with low level performance. The top layers are already taken by AI. Future is more towards electronics, robotics, smart appliances, IoT. I mean, yeah, it's like a reasonable take. Really depends on what level of quality you're looking for. I don't know what is taking so long here. What is it doing? It's created some files, right? Vela. Okay, this file's empty. And this file has... this is the Cube Vela Helm chart. Yeah, Vela core. Cube Vela GitHub IO charts. And then Vela system. Yep. Cube Vela, Vela core. Right. Yeah, at some point, everyone, I will create a chatbot that logs into the YouTube chat, and whenever it sees phrases like Linux distro and question mark, I will get the chatbot to respond. Why use kubevela versus just Argo CD applications? Is that different from, is Argo CD applications like a different thing from Argo CD? Or because the reason why is because I want something that's a bit more abstract than Argo. But is that kind of what Argo is sort of presenting here? Do they have like something more high level, like a... Let me see. Argo OAM. Let's see if they have anything on this. Okay. In the cloud native context, Argo can be combined with the open application model to simplify how software is deployed. Teams integrate Argo with kubevela. Okay, so you join both of them. And that's essentially what I'm about to do. To create self-service developer platforms that abstract complex Kubernetes infrastructure. You join them both together. The OAM breaks down applications into manageable components and traits and scopes. Open application model, I think it is. An open model for defining, let me make this dark. An open model for defining cloud native apps. Kubevela is an implementation of OAM. Looks like Crossplane also is involved, and you've also got a few of these others. So it's essentially just like a level above Kubernetes. Where is the actual like specification? Purpose and goals, overview and terminology, component model. It's a bit large, isn't it? What domain of let me read back a few. How are you finding Kubernetes at the moment? I've just started down this path, down the rabbit hole with LM, and I'm looking to go sideways short. I am finding Kubernetes at the moment to be a tool that clearly was made in 2014 with lots of glue, and people have put in a tremendous amount of work to improve how it the management of Kubernetes, and I think that's going to continue. But yeah, it's a lot of things patched together, and not everything was really obvious at the start. How did I get into DevOps? How did I get into DevOps? Well, I mean, when I was in the industry, I mean, I'm still in the industry, but when like, DevOps was a very popular thing. You couldn't be working in the industry and not hear about DevOps. So, of course, you naturally want to look into stuff. And then you read things like the Phoenix Project and the DevOps Handbook and Continuous Delivery, Martin Fowler. And you just kind of, you know, it's just that's how it goes, I suppose. These kinds of books, talks by Jez Humble, things like that. Fast, enjoy the content. I'm a junior engineer, still not much money. Is taking a paid exam like CompTIA worth it? I would get those certifications if there's lots of jobs in your area that explicitly state that they want you to have those. What domain of software engineers earn the highest in today's world? Machine learning and AI. Where do I game, Windows or Linux? I only use Linux. I also have a MacBook, but I don't use it for any games or anything like that. Because what you can define on a kubevela custom resource, you can define it on an Argo CD application. The difference is that Argo CD application does not support giving only an image. Fair enough. AI, bubble or not? I can't say. I don't know. I mean, there's a tremendous amount of money thrown into those companies, so they better produce something that gives them a return on investment. Otherwise, yeah, it's going to pop. Seriously, how did they build Kubernetes without Claude? Really good question. Yeah. Pain and suffering, I think, is how they built it. 130 people are watching. How do you make sure that an open source project is trustworthy? Read the code, basically. The breadth of topics you need to know to get even an understanding is crazy for DevOps. Possibly. So scaling, route, security group, rollout strategy. I don't understand what it's trying to say here. We've got a spec, then we have the type of workload, and then we have yeah, so I guess this is kind of what I want to sort of get to, where let's say you have a company and you got like 1,000 developers, and they all want to make microservices and do whatever the heck they want. It's nice if they only have to provide something like this, like my server is called this. It's this is my image. Here's my environment variables and whatever. Am I learning from scratch? Yes. What did it say down here? Helm component sample. So, oh, okay. Broken link. Cool, cool. Also a broken link. What did I use to learn the basics of Kubernetes? I started with their documentation, and then I read a little bit of Kubernetes the hard way. And then from there, I pretty much just used LLMs. I used Gemini to answer most of my questions, and Google. The answer to most questions that start with, how do I start in X, is just find a help desk to write and branch out as fast as you can. That's not a bad strategy. That's a decent strategy. Pretty much every field of technology has just infinite depth. My favorite game, probably Dota 2, in terms of hours played. Extended workload, I don't... Component definition, database backend worker web service, workload definition, traits. So this is like what the platform engineers would set up, and this is what your application, your developers would set up. Something like that. So this is the platform engineer's responsibility, and this is your developer's responsibility. That's the goal that we sort of have, to platformatize Kubernetes so that the devs don't need to know about any of this. And if we can understand how to do this, then it pretty much means that I could replace maybe a team of 20. From what I researched, Kubevela is nice to abstract all the things that the devs do not need to understand and know. And exactly that's the point. That's what, pretty much what, why I want to look into how to set it up. So we have application scopes. What's this? They should be used when defining behavior or metadata that's common to a group of components. They may be deployed into multiple application scopes. They may determine whether or not components can be deployed into multiple instances, and they may be used as a connecting mechanism between groups. Health scope, network scope, network scope. Is this a way of isolating pods or something? It's kind of cool. Okay, component A is isolated in its own network scope. This allows the infrastructure operator to supply different SDN settings. Oh, that's cool. Because one of the things that is on my to-do list is, wow, this is taking a long time. I literally left this terminal, and it's like not done yet. But anyway, in the to-do list, we have just getting Kubevela installed and set up as the first bit. Then getting ingress and routing. So that means that when we deploy something, it's going to create the routing and also probably the DNS. Then we'll have the UX installed. And then credentials and secrets and environment variables. And then there's this chunk here. I'm not sure if I'll do this, but it's saying like to push just code up somewhere, and it's saying to use KPack or a Tecton pipeline. One of you was mentioning Tecton before. And then the last step here is hard multi-tenancy and security. So yeah, that would be cool. Where am I learning this from? I asked Gemini. KPack is nice. Okay. Can you describe kind of like what is KPack doing exactly for you? It transforms source code directly into a container. Ah, so people don't have to maintain their own image building. That's cool. I haven't heard of build packs before. That's pretty cool. Does that mean with KPack, can you define like the golden image that every app gets packaged into? Because that'd be interesting. You choose the OS for the devs or something like that. It's kind of interesting. Is AI and machine learning mandatory to learn for every dev? Absolutely not. Only if you're interested in doing AI and ML. We are so the last episode we successfully got Kubernetes deployed in one click, and now we have let me see. Do we have the cats? Or was it the other load balancer? I think it was the other one. Yeah. Now we have a pod that's running a cats server. This is on our Kubernetes cluster. And now the next step for us is to make the cluster more of a platform. So that's why we're researching Kubevela at the moment. Let me just grab a drink because my voice is a bit dry. All right, we have acquired hydration. You've never tried to customize somehow the images it generates. It's nice because we can point it into a repo and make it build an image on push. But like, how does it know what application to run in the container? And what if it's like a Python app and you need to put virtual environments and crap like this and install dependencies? How does KPAC handle all of that? Cluster more as a platform. What does that mean? Provide the cluster commands as APIs for high-level access. To give you an idea of what it will look like, if I look at the stuff that I had to deploy, I don't know how to get these all into a quick fix list. Let me try to, yeah. So just to run the Valheim pod, I have to define all of this stuff. And it's all really Kubernetes specific stuff, which I would never want developers to have to look up and understand. So I want them to just be able to specify really snippets of what they need. And apparently Kubevela does that by allowing you to turn these into components, which I guess is kind of like, what do you call it? It's kind of like Helm charts in a way, but just like without Helm charts. Used H200 on RunPod and wrote all the code. Used 90 million tokens. Damn. What is H200 and RunPod? Networking beginner books. I'm not really that well. I'm not that read up on networking per se. Like all the networking stuff that I've learned has been just on the job. How to decide how much control to give to devs, what to enforce? That's a good question. It's a matter of design and personal choice, and you got to listen to the developers. Maybe they need certain stuff. Maybe maybe it's too abstract. Maybe it's not abstract enough. Like if it's really difficult for them to, like if you find them doing repetitive things all the time, maybe you turn that into a component so that they don't have to do it as often. They stop asking questions. And then you might get people saying, I'm trying to do this and I can't do it. How do I do it? And then that's when you have to bring the abstraction a bit lower, give them a little bit more control. Use BuildPack and Doku. It was much more reasonable tool than Kubernetes. Not sure if Doku still lives. Never heard of it, to be honest. Are you installing Kubernetes on EC2 VM or using it provided? I'm using EC2 VMs. Why is concurrency, multi-threading, networking, and parallel computing so in demand nowadays? Probably because in terms of compute, wait, what happened to our session? Hold on. Concurrency, multi-threading, and parallel computing is in demand because all of the cores, all of the CPUs that have been made in modern times they have many cores, but the clock speed has stayed mostly the same. That's probably why. Oh, okay. So apparently, yeah, okay. So I've lost my whatever progress was happening. Doku was Heroku on premise. Oh, okay. That's cool. Can I get a shout out for my girlfriend? Sure. Happy birthday, Lamia. So I am managing Kubernetes. How much node and where does this node reside? It's in Amazon. I've got 2 worker nodes and 1 control plane. Resume thingy. That's fine. We can start. It was kind of slow. B Diddy again? What is going on, B Diddy? The most generous person there is. This is now the 3rd time that B Diddy has jumped in here and chucked in 10 memberships. Like an absolute legend. Appreciate it, man. Really grateful for the support. Love the streams. Want to see your community grow. Thanks, mate. I appreciate that. Very generous. Very, very kind. I'm in Australia. I've really rarely come across DevOps as a codified role. Oh, really? DevOps being a role is like one of my pet peeves. But I would say that we're sort of phasing out DevOps engineers, and what's coming in as a replacement is platform engineers. Same thing, different name. When I join a job, need a senior like you. I think a bunch of people would agree with you there. Not to be arrogant or anything, but I get told, I don't know, I get a lot of good feedback, but I probably shouldn't. I probably shouldn't say shit like that. Are you sure you will not end up with EKS? I'm probably going to try EKS just so that I have a very thorough understanding of the whole ecosystem of Kubernetes. And then I can make a recommendation as to how I think people should maybe operate Kubernetes. But who am I to tell people how to run it? You've seen DevOps and infra roles, but mostly in big SaaS. The reason why you probably would see those types of roles, like DevOps, platform, in bigger companies is because they have more developers so that the return on investment of a platform is higher. And that's why they can afford to get a dedicated DevOps person or platform person. What's the difference between DevOps and SRE? There's very little difference in my opinion. I'm actually going to do a video on DevOps, but I haven't gotten around to recording it yet. I guess the point is that they're splitting the big ball of mud that DevOps is and making the role more precise, like platform engineer, cloud ops, SRE. Yeah, part of the problem is that DevOps as a role should never have existed. It's all the same. Yes, you're correct. SRE, DevOps, platform eng, and sysadmin. And what was after sysadmin? I think it was sysadmin, DevOps, SRE, platform engineer is where we're at. Am I doing competitive programming? No, not really. I don't what's wrong with which companies? DevOps, revisions or infra, SRE estimates, maintains, takes blame when stuff breaks. That is an accurate assessment of how it's sort of those roles have landed. From what I've seen, companies are notorious for using all the job titles interchangeably. Yeah, that happens. Do they just change the title every few years? I think so, because it's one way to stay relevant. It's a way to sell like books and consulting and all kinds of stuff. But also just in general, the ideas evolve over time and they get better. So like you could think of SRE and platform engineers as the correction to DevOps engineers. Why Gemini and not Claude? No reason in particular. I do have a subscription for Gemini, so that is that is why. Building my own platform as a service while I watch this up. Have I tested the Pi agent harness? Yeah, I used it like once or twice. I wasn't sure if I really liked it. I'll probably give it more of a try later. Karthik. Mutual agreement? What is the real? What is the use case of infrastructure as code in Terraform? Basically, you just don't want to do this stuff by hand. It's very tedious stuff to do by hand. Since there is a AWS certified DevOps engineer professional, why couldn't this be a role? Because, well, I mean, that's just a company trying to make money off that particular, like they're just selling something which people want to buy. Your perspective is warped by being in the ISP space. All right, let me try, let's see. Let me see what this is trying to do exactly. Where is my terminal? Vela, install. CPU quota undefined. Max procs. Oh, that's fine. CLI allows installing kubevela on any Kubernetes derivative. Have we... What is it doing? Am I deploying my cluster into cloud? We have the cluster at the moment. Cluster's here in Amazon. We have pods running. Let me see if I can... I should be able to hit the control plane. Yeah. These are our pods right now. We've got a CATS server, and we've got Valheim and Argo CD, which is pulling in stuff. And at the moment, I'm trying to get kubevela installed. How am I handling cost? I've got a budget, but it's been fine. It's costing me like $15. Trying to install the kubevela controller directly onto the cluster. Since I requested no Git, so Gemini was trying to install the kubevela application, and it was trying to hit it through Vela CLI. Yeah. So we're going to push this, and we're going to see if it's going to install. Have I looked into Helm? We're kind of using Helm right now. Like these kind of... These use Helm charts, for example. Let me see. Like this one, for example. We actually have to use Helm because we're running Talos Linux. Well, we could use kubectl, but I don't know. Helm's been cool. Well, actually, if I'm totally honest, Helm's kind of gross. Let me see this. Envoy Gateway, Helm chart. Have you guys actually seen the these Helm chart templates? Like, look at this. Look at this. It's 99% markup and 1% YAML. Who decided this was a good idea? Why didn't we just generate the YAML? It's almost entirely markup. Let's see. Service. Like, just imagine this same thing. Let's do a little experiment, okay? We'll use Claude just because something different. We're going to say, look at this Helm chart template. Right? Then we're going to say if someone decided to build this using a Python data class instead of templated YAML, what might it look like in code? Just for the hell of it. I think this is a lot better. It's not amazing, but I feel like it's like, why didn't we just do something like this? What secrets manager am I using? I don't think I have one at the moment, but AWS secrets manager is a good choice. Probably try to use that, because I think secrets manager is like astronomically cheap, right? 5 cents per 10,000 API calls. 40 cents per secret per month. That seems pretty good. Right, but like, the problem here is that, so I kind of talked about this in the video I did about the programmer's brain, right? Where if you look at this, you only have to read this, and you can chunk down the whole concept as service spec. Then once you understand, okay, I know what a service spec is, when it's used in here, you're like, yeah, okay, I know what that is. I know what this is doing. You see how this is like so much better for your brain than this shit. OKD secret manager? I don't know what that is. Mexican living in Wales, UK. I want to learn Kube. Well, I'm probably going to do like a summary video at some point on everything I've learned. Try to distill it into something that's reasonable. So, but in the meantime, you're free to chill and see what's going on. So one thing that kind of annoys me. Oh wait. So let's see if I've got. Should we see a pod in here, which is going to be kubevela? So it's already provisioned. Argo has created the kubevela pods here. So let's just give this to Gemini and say, hey, look, it's ready. Argo has picked up the new pods. Whoops. What can we do with this? What's this? Kubernetes? Will watching all your streams about Madman cubes and working alongside help you master Kube? I think you'll get a fair sense of like what's available for managing Kubernetes, and maybe you'll avoid some of the mistakes I made in trying to get Kubernetes up and running. It's not ready. Kubevela core has 2 restarts already. We might be running out of memory or something like that. That was like a minute and a half ago. You saw my video about learning Rust. I'm curious about my view on learning new programming languages in the AI era. My view hasn't really changed since AI. I think everyone should learn different languages to have different ways of thinking. Yeah, I don't know why it would have restarted. Let's look at why maybe why it restarted. Pods Kubevela? How do I... This one? System. Waiting for cluster gateway service. It's not ready. Current state is false. Is that maybe why it was restarting? Do you think? Do I speak Spanish? No, sorry. My wife speaks Spanish. You're tired of watching surface level YouTube tutorials, reading docs, and watching these streams are the best. Really? I'd like to understand more about how this is better than, say, a more produced YouTube video. Why do developers need to learn a language deeply? I guess it depends what you mean by learning a language deeply, like the internals of the language. I think it's important to know the internals so that, I mean, you can learn it on the fly, but it helps to know the internals before you have to deal with a problem that involves the internals of it. And they could just be things that maybe AI hasn't been trained on. Is certification important? I personally don't really have that many certifications, but I think if it's relevant to the career you want, then you might as well do it. It's a good way to have a structured learning. Tips for college student who has to do other things other than DSA. I would say go to Code Crafters. Make some projects. What is this thing trying to do, huh? Wow. Detailed status, checking endpoints, describing the API service, inspecting the service definition, listing and inspecting the endpoint slices, have no addresses with port name error, known issues with Cilium, have no addresses with port name. Maybe it's confused. So we've got cluster gateway, Bella core, and then it's got here core admission and core cluster gateway, TLS secret. Always Gemini, not always. What is this PGB key? It's an encryption key. Do I speak any Slavic language? I speak a little bit of Russian. Very, very small amount. If you want to send an encrypted message to me, you can encrypt with that. Yeah, if you go to my site, you'll find a PGP key. That's what you're asking about, yeah? So if you want to send me an encrypted message, you use this, encrypt the message, you send it to me, and I can decrypt it, and no one else. You also, if you wanted to, if I send you an email and you don't trust that it's from me, I can sign the email and then you can verify it with my public key. Am I from Perth? No. I am not from Perth. I'm struggling with how much I should learn to get a job as a Rust CPP role. I get asked, what is box in Rust? Which you don't know. A box is a pointer to a value on the heap. That's actually a really easy question. You should know what a box is. You should absolutely know what a box is in Rust. In the same way, you should be able to tell me the difference between a string slice and a string. Or what's the difference between arc or RC or how do you let's say, when would you use a ref cell or cell? Those are some things you should sort of just know, I think, in Rust. And on the topic of box, you should also know pin. Do you know how pin works? And why is pin used so often in async frameworks? Have I ever used maybe uninit? No. No, I have not. 4 restarts on Kubernetes core, yeah. 6 restarts now. Can we follow the logs? Okay, so it's waiting for the cluster gateway, and this one's completed. So let's see what the logs look like here. Using the in-cluster config, this might not work. Neither kube config nor master was specified. Secrets not found. No secret found. All right. Let's just say, so kubevela isn't working because maybe this error. Is from the Vela gateway cluster gateway. This is preventing the which was the other one? The Vela call from starting. It is restarting because this other pod not ready. Let's see. I don't use terminal AI yet. I'm just using the web. That's fine. Whatever suits you. Working on a financial crypto-based stablecoin transaction ledger. Damn. That sounds crazy. Am I applying for jobs or taking a break? Yeah, a bit of both, I guess. If you install canines, you should be able to navigate your Kubernetes easily. That's fine. I tried canines the other like a week ago. What was my role at Atlassian? I saw a viral post on X. I was a senior systems engineer working on a networking team that was responsible for load balancing. I think I need to learn from very basic for any language. Yeah. Don't rely too much on AI. You need to understand what it's writing. You got to be patient and don't be in such a rush to just create things. You got to understand them along the way. What am I doing here? So we've built a Kubernetes cluster. What is this? Patch CA. Patch CA. What is it doing? I will write a Python script to automatically retrieve the correct CA certificates from the secret resources and patch the API service and webhook. Okay, no. We prefer to do everything via Git if we can, either through GitOps or through GitHub Actions. So we've created a Kubernetes cluster and we're trying to make it nicer, basically. We're trying to make it into a proper platform. Let me show you a graphic that maybe describes what we want. Here it is. Here's the graphic. So we want, in Kubernetes, you've got to think about all these types of things. We want just the infrastructure person to think about these, and for the developer to just think about a little tiny slice of it. We don't want developers to think about anything Kubernetes related, if we can avoid it. We just want them to give us a small little YAML, and everything should work for them. Make them happy and make their lives easy and keep them productive. That's what we're trying to do with Kubernetes right now. Top 3 applications of Rust. Do you mean like projects? There's so many. Where do I live? Australia. How do you go by learning something from scratch without any tutorials? There's so much material out there on well, I mean, I've used LLMs a lot, so yeah. Am I learning advanced level Kubernetes? I didn't use Kubernetes at Atlassian at all. Can I do a Rust stream? I will at some point. Just fix this yourself, it will be easier. Velocore is applied to the cluster, but the controllers are restarting because it's waiting on the cluster gateway. That service is unavailable because its bundle is the placeholder. The job that patches the bundle is registered as a post-sync Helm hook. Argo's sync policy waits for the Velocore deployment to become healthy before. So we have a what, like some kind of race detection, race condition here. The deployment waits for the certificate patch, and this blah blah blah. So it's like it's in some kind of a deadlock. So offload cert management to cert manager. My goodness. Do you see what I mean? Like how Kubernetes is just all these things glued together. You know what I mean? It's just this kind of stuff. How come you speak Russian a little? Because I dated a Ukrainian woman at some point, a long time ago. Where is Rust used a lot? Does it have to be like open source, or because, for example, Cloudflare uses a lot of Rust. You can look up Cloudflare Pingora. Most of the internet goes through Pingora. Why Pop OS? Why not Ubuntu? Pop OS has better experience out of the box. Why is it a proper way to ask? Is it a proper way to ask your help? But still, is it a good idea if you can give me suggestion? And how can I message you using EK? I don't really understand the question. Am I Greek? Yes. Born in Australia to Greek parents. I've never used Java, let alone Spring Boot. Do I like Quarkus? I have no idea. Why learn Kubernetes? Because everyone uses it. So if I'm going to step into an environment where everything's deployed via Kubernetes, I need to know what the hell's going on. So it's suggesting to add Cert Manager as a GitOps. Yeah, this is acceptable to me. What's my favorite Greek island? I haven't been to many. I've been to Greece once. Been to Greece once. Okay. And the only islands I went to were the, what are they called? Ionian? Where was it? What are they called? Are they further out? No, no. Somewhere around here. It wasn't these. Have I tried Mint OS, Arch Linux? Yeah, I've tried Arch. An Atlassian must learn Java. That's not necessarily true. Especially if you work in the platform. You don't need to know Java, really. Naxos and Santorini. Unfortunately, I haven't been there, but I would like to go. How did I deploy applications without Kubernetes at Atlassian? We had an internal developer platform where we, the deployment was handled for us. It would be great to see you re-architect your load balancer system on Kube. It seems like it's all pretty worked out, but maybe doing some really advanced stuff would be interesting. Broad advice for preparing? I don't think I could help you for IT operations engineer, to be honest. I don't know what that role is. Let's say a service does not need to be fast. What language would you consider first? I mean, you could just use like Ruby on Rails or Python, like Fast API, something like that. If you don't care about speed. Do I just learn the most used technology or languages? Only if I'm really interested in them, to be honest. Or if I think it's really worthwhile for my career. What's the edge of using Kubernetes? It allows you to, as far as I understand, turn your hardware into an abstraction so that you can deploy lots and lots of apps at scale easily. Why Gemini over Claude and Codex? I don't have subscriptions for Claude or Codex at the moment. I'm not too interested. Yeah, I can't really remember what the islands that I went to were called or where they were. But as you can see, I have been to Patras and Arakova. Arachova. Yeah. And yeah, anyway. What do I think about software engineer career in 2026 and beyond? It's the best time to start. That's what I think. Bro is from Ithaca. No, I'm not. I'm not from Ithaca. Were you using Kubernetes? No. In Atlassian? No. Sentinel Islands? Haven't heard of them. Let me see this. So we now have a cert manager deployment, and we've changed the kubevela to use cert manager. Let's see what happens. You've been a software engineer 13 years, and now it seems like everything has been dramatically changed. Can you say more about that? Everyone is telling me to quit IT. Well, are they in IT? Do they know what they're talking about? That's my first question. In Atlassian, what was the main language? I think it was Java, mainly. And then probably the second was Golang. Why don't I use Omachi? I tried it, I didn't like it. This stream, you were answering a lot of questions. I'm so happy. The last stream, I was a bit serious. Was I? I feel the same. I feel... I don't feel different. Crash loop back off. We have cert manager running for 21 seconds. Should I quit IT and go furniture making? Only if the furniture is really awesome. Do furniture restoration. That's what you should get into. If you want to learn, isn't it better to build your own deployment software? Are you saying like build my own version of Kubernetes? What was your question, Niraj? It seems you've probably received a lot of job offers from various companies since uploading the video. I haven't received offers. I've received invitations to go through the hiring process and do interviews. How do I focus on learning while also streaming? It's impossible. It's impossible. So we have cert manager running for almost 2 minutes, and then we have crash loop back off on Velacore. I guess that's because it rebooted 8 times. So it's gonna take a while to get unstuck, huh? Let's see. We've got kubevelo cluster gateway is in completed state. Do I need to destroy the stack? Please tell me I don't have to destroy the stack. Argo has pulled in the cert manager. Use kubectl to check the pods. I think kubevelo is in crash loop back off, and the cluster gateway is completed, which means dead. The other day I tried to get into S&P, got rejected. S&P, like the stock market. When I started studying in 2016, everyone was saying that the good times were already over. Yeah, man, I heard the same thing in like 2005. Don't get into IT is what I was told in 2005. It's all over. 20 years ago. I was being told that it was all over. Don't get into it. Don't make a career out of IT. Did Atlassian use RPC? What do you mean by that? How is Atlassian? Looks like culture has gone down the drain. The culture has changed, but I would still recommend it as a place to work. Am I using cloud? I'm using cloud, yes. Should I didn't go to college? Should I continue a career in this path? I don't see why not. gRPC, a little. We used a little bit of gRPC. Oh, if Atlassian reaches out again with the apology of wrong impulsive decision, will you consider the patch up? I'm a bit undecided there. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe later, but not right now. You had an interview with Amazon that took 4 hours, coding on whiteboard, DSA questions. Really? Did you get the job? So Gemini has kicked off a sync operation. We've got the Velocore is running. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Waiting for cluster gateway service. The Velocore pod is waiting for the cluster gateway service. Couldn't pay me $1 million to work in Amazon. You reckon it's that bad? I've heard bad things, but I don't know. I don't have a personal experience. Will leak code make you a good software engineer? No, but it will help you pass the coding part of the interview. Should you use help during virtual interviews? What is help in quotes? What are you referring to there? You've heard of people getting caught up in a FANG layoff only to be brought back because they turned out to be too important. You'd have to pay back the severance, though. Really? You'd have to pay back the severance? No way. I'm not giving that. I wouldn't give that cash back. No way. That cash is gone. It's already. I've got a Lamborghini. It's gone. You can't have that cash anymore. Which coding agent are you using for doing this? Gemini at the moment. Help is AI for the interview process. I wouldn't use it so much that when you show up on the job that you can't do the job. You know what I mean? Not everything is just about getting employed. You got to also build a good reputation. You don't want to get blacklisted from a company and all of their friends. You know? You're comfortable with front-end, back-end DevOps and cybersecurity, but you can't seem to find the right space where you belong. Those are all quite different things. You should pick the one you like the most and just go all in. Hello from Greece. Got inspired from your videos regarding learning. Very down-to-earth videos, especially when you said about imposter syndrome. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much. And welcome. Just build stuff. Exactly. Just build stuff. What's going on here? Why did it stop? Crash loop back off. We're back in crash loop back off. Because this service is not ready. And if we look at the logs for this one, it's still got this secrets failure here. Am I going to fail an interview if I don't do leak code? You might fail the coding part of the interview, yeah. How do you deal with skill atrophy? Use the skills. Coding for close to 30 years, 15 years, got tired of IT services, founded your own company. Nice. Give it a try for a year, and 15 years later, still going. That's cool, man. That's the dream. How good is gRPC? I like the tight coupling of tRPC. I don't know what tRPC is. The reason we're stuck is that Argo CD applies resources in waves. It applies the API service. It blocks and refuses to apply subsequent resources, including the cert manager certificate and issuer. So we have another deadlock. Then it says kubevela cluster gateway is actually running in healthy. That's not true. Cluster gateway. Oh, it's here running in healthy. But what about Vela core? Cluster gateway TLS secret. Wait, so it's actually running then? Waiting for cluster gateway service. Cluster gateway service. Cluster gateway service 824 blah 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 blah. Okay. Crash loop back off. Git add. So the cluster gateway is actually running. Completed status in the secret and admission create jobs. They're normal. Okay, they're normal. How do I think people like Kelsey Hightower get to their position? I don't know much about Kelsey, but from what I've seen, he has a really good attitude towards work where nothing is below him. He will learn everything like from through the whole process, and he'll slowly work his way up until he's just that guy in the company. I think that's just what his strategy was. He was hungry, he learned everything. He tried to make everything better, and he just kept pushing, and he just kind of made it that way. But I've only seen probably like half an hour of him talking. My first VPS took days. I don't know what you mean actually. You're also building a project. You put my stream on, and you have a coding buddy. Nice. Yes, we are coding buddies. Wasn't Atlassian sympathetic when they made the decision of losing such a skilled guy? It wasn't a personal decision, it was random. So no one actually knew, like, exactly who was being let go. Wondering if any tips on learning based on my experiences. Everything I learned was like through trial and error, basically. Just from building stuff. I never sat down and consumed any formal content. I just built stuff and I learned along the way. Is it necessarily bad for people starting now to use AI for their stack setup? So architecture and logic come from them, but the code is written by AI. I think if you're reviewing everything, then it's fine. Did they really leave the layoffs to chance? I'm not sure if it was like, maybe there was some exclusion, like certain people could definitely not be fired. But then apart from that, it seemed pretty random to me. It's pretty random. How do you build code standards when there is no code review in your team? Damn. You add linters to your build, which enforce certain rules so that the build fails if those are not successful. And then, well, it's going to be hard because you also need maybe git commit hooks or something like that to run the lints. Otherwise, people are going to get annoyed. It's a tough question, honestly. So you create and research things on your local and do trial and error. And how do you face the boredoms if they came? If you are bored, you need to keep going. Don't allow boredom to stop you. Why am I using Gemini 3.5 Flash Medium? It does the job. It's fine. Graphics programming. We are both madmen, yes. You are a madman too. Graphics is hard. How do interviewers judge a candidate other than making them do DSA? They ask them questions about their projects and then they deep dive on those projects. So this is the change that Gemini wants to push out, where it's got this health script where it's ignoring health checks for the Argo CD CM. This is to get rid of a deadlock. Let me just confirm. Then after this, we revert that change, right? How long it took for you to get your hands on Vim? It probably took me like a few months to get comfortable. I haven't used OpenCode actually. I should use it at some point. Am I ignoring you? What did you say? You're a fresher. You want to join as junior data engineering. I don't know anything about data engineering. How important are projects for the resume when most of them can be done by a single prompt? You can build a project with an LLM, but then operating it is a whole different story. You'll run into problems and you'll need to make hard technical decisions. And if you don't, then you're probably not building something that's serious enough. What are the must-knows for Rust and Golang? Like, you mean like syntax-wise and constructs? I mean, just, I guess you could learn some of the standard library and you need to be more specific with your question. All right. So we should be able to see. It's 0, 1. So this isn't ready. Yeah, I'm using anti-gravity, Google anti-gravity as my terminal LLM. Okay, let's see the logs now. Oops. This one, right? It's still saying not ready. Yeah, it's still saying not ready. So in total, I think there is problems in our fields with getting promoted because it's always a different story with every people. There is no mechanism to level up like in games. Yeah, we pretend to have what do you call like formal structured process, but at the end of the day, if people like you more, then they're more likely to get promoted. So yeah, there's big flaws in that whole thing. You're angry. Why are you angry? Decisions are taken at such a big org like this clearly means big orgs are being run by incompetent non-tech people. I don't know. I'm not a businessman, so I can't comment on that. Have I tried Minikube? I have not tried Minikube. Is it awesome? Because people keep mentioning it. How has the job search been going for you after the layoff? I'm very fortunate and I have lots of companies talking to me. Wow. They promote every 2 years, and if you're not good enough, they put you on a program. That's crazy. I don't think that's a good strategy, honestly, because tenure and the amount of time you've been at a place is not a good measure for seniority or skill or anything like that. Someone who wants to work as a platform engineer. Honestly, learn a programming language, probably Golang. Learn Kubernetes. And you probably also want to learn... let's see. Is it on roadmap? Do we have a platform engineer on roadmap? Network engineer. No, not no. Okay. Let's see. DevSecOps? No. DevOps? Maybe. Maybe DevOps. Let's see this. Let's see how close this gets to being useful and accurate. Learn a programming language, then learn about operating systems, then learn about terminals. Git hosting, containers. Yeah. How to set up these. Yeah. Not bad, not bad. Bit of networking. Yeah. Cloud providers. What if I click on this? Oh, okay, it's going to have that. Config management, provisioning. This is a pretty good roadmap for someone trying to be a platform engineer. And then it's even got another roadmap down here for Kubernetes, which I haven't looked at, by the way. I probably should have looked at this a week ago. But yeah, roadmap.sh DevOps. Go check that out. What makes me say that it's the best time to do software engineering now? Because you have a talking encyclopedia that can teach you anything and has infinite patience to teach you every topic that you would ever want to know. That's why it's the best time. It's never been easier to learn software engineering, ever, in any point in history. In-depth knowledge of OSI, especially layers 3 and 4. I think you should know a bit about layer 4. Layer 3, I'm not too sure, unless you're trying to be a network engineer. If my goal, it never ends and you can go endlessly deep. If my goal isn't to become networks, are there any milestones where you can tell yourself to move on? I'm generally not a fan of like learning something without a relevant or practical need. Is network engineering still worth it? Yeah. Yes, it is. Is learning system design useful for juniors? Yes, it is. Yeah, whatever they're doing in interviews, you want to learn those things to get past the interview. Then the job itself will be easier. If someone asks you to reverse a red-black tree at the middle of the night waking you up, would I be able to do it? No. I've never made a red-black tree. Cisco certs is a good way. No, actually, Cisco certs are still relevant. They're still very relevant for network engineers. At the very minimum, if you want to be a network engineer, you need to have your CCNA. As far as I'm aware. Greetings from Bosnia. Advice like for looking for jobs. Yeah, I do have advice for looking for jobs. Find tech meetups in your local area. Go to them and just talk to people. Half of the time, those events are on because people are looking to hire. And if you show up there and be enthusiastic, they might want to try to hire you or at least interview you. You can use Opus 4.6 in AGI. Yes, I did know that. Do you think I should? Just to see how it goes? What's this doing? Delete secret. You're graduating soon, but you feel lost. Reading books like grokking algorithms? Or just go ham on neat code? You should pick books that target what you're trying to accomplish and use the book as a reference for how to get there. And if you're just graduating, I think it's normal to feel kind of lost. You'll figure it out. Lots of meetups in Sydney, but you haven't gone to any. There's a Golang one. There is, I think, a Rust one. There is like DevOps ones. How to not get scared to shit when seeing someone use terminal and Vim like a pro. Use terminal and Vim more. Project to work on or build. You guys haven't watched all my videos because I have. Where's my channel? Code Crafters. I did this video on Code Crafters. So if you go to Code Crafters, they have these projects here. Build every project here. And when you complete this at the end, make it your own. And then like you'll have so much evidence that you can build stuff that it's just you won't need to ask yourself those questions anymore. So what do we have going on? Kubevela core running, 14 restarts. Is there something new here? Cert manager, Valheim, Cilium, kube proxies. Okay. Found the missing link. The cluster gateway. Oh. Thanks, Rocket Sketch, for joining as a member. I think if you're let me see. If you're a member, you should be able to do these emojis. I don't have many emojis, but I do have these. BSY bongo. Oh, how do I copy paste it? How do I spam the hell out of this? It's okay, I'll just do one. Well, that didn't work either, did it? Answer to any question in a dev tech stream. Do and study more. Literally. Just. Book to become a software architect. Becoming a software architect is pretty hard. You need to be like, you need to at least be a senior engineer first. Probably a principal or staff, and then you can probably branch out to architecture from there. I answered this question already. Should I keep working on my skills or do some certs or go for a master's degree? If you have the option, I guess you should do a master's degree. How do you decide on which career to focus on? Whichever one makes you feel the most energized. Networking topics for DevOps SRE. All the networking that I know, I learned on the job. So, long road ahead. A book? Yeah, it's a long road to become a software architect. It's a very challenging job to get into, I would say. So what's this saying? Cluster Gateway runs as a separate component inside kubevela, and it has its own certificate settings. Since this thing is set to false, it was still trying to use certgen to manage the certs, which left the API CA bundle, updated kubevela to enable cert manager. Was it? Hold on. I thought we did this already. Oh, was it only for admission webhooks? So now we have to add this for multi-cluster? Is Zellige good on server? Yeah, it's about the same as Tmux. Argo CD self-heals drift already. What about an agent that watches Prometheus and actually remediates? And that sounds kind of cool. Yes, I'm using PopOS. Why did I pick it? It just has a good experience with general hardware out of the box. Have I checked crossplane? Yes, I did check crossplane. And I don't think it's what I need in this case. Let me see this. Crash loop back off, kubevela core, that's fine. Then we have cluster gateways running. Smartest and most innocent person you've seen in my entire life. Can you tell me more about that? What would I recommend? Building a portfolio on Codecrafters, or creating a real product that solves a problem? I would suggest the real product. If you can solve a problem in the world, then you should do that 100%. Check the status of the certificates and secrets. We don't have those anymore. They're gone. Those are gone. Get certificate secrets. Let me see this. I want to see this myself. Get certificates. Vela system. Secrets? Ah. Cert manager. Gateway TLS was created 13 seconds ago. Good night. All right. See you later. Have I ever grinded leak code? I have done maybe 30 or 40 leak code questions. Completed them. Karthik, what do you mean I'm the smartest and most innocent? What do you mean by that? It is getting pretty late here, also. Rollout, restart, deployment, kubevela cluster gateway. Restart both the cluster gateway and the Vela core. Now they're both in crash loop back off. Oh, there's two of them now. Studying AI and machine learning. I don't know anything about that field, so I can't really help. Why Gemini? Just because. You were using Pop! OS before. After they forked GNOME, you switched to Fedora. I'm using GNOME. I think my desktop is GNOME. I'm pretty sure it is anyway. You sent ALB Ghost sent a clapping seal for 250 joules. I don't even know what joules are, but cool. As we get promoted to senior level, are most of the roles remote or on-site? They're probably hybrid. Some remote, some on-site. Like 3 days a week on-site. I am not Lithuanian. I'm my ancestry is Greek. All right, let's try Opus, shall we? One of you suggested using Opus. Do you have the previous context? Is there any bias in hiring if one uses Bamf? No, I don't think they care about your editor. You don't understand how Pop! OS is better than Mac OS. It's just preference. There's a kube config in this repo. What are these YouTube XPs? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Oh, look, I can look at the stuff that's happened. We can see the 10 gifted from B Diddy, one from Rocket Sketch, and clapping seals. Cool. If I was a recruiter, what non-coding aspects would I look for in the intern? Number one thing that I would look for in an intern, the number one thing, when they don't know something, they say they don't know. Maybe they tried to look into how to do something a little bit before telling me that they don't know. And they tell me what they've tried. And then if they haven't understood something that I've told them to do or whatever, they tell me that they don't understand and they need more information. That's the number one thing. Just the ability to just not be embarrassed that they don't know stuff. Where do I store my PGP keys safely so it can be accessible and yet safe? Like my private keys? How did I go from graphic designer to engineer? I quit the graphic design job and then I got a traineeship in IT help desk. Your private keys, you can use like if you don't want to put it on a USB or something like that, then you can try like a password manager or something. I have so much experience and knowledge and yet so humble and still hungry for learning. to be honest, I feel like super inadequate all the time. So yeah, I just feel like I need to learn more all the time. It just never feels good enough, you know? So guys, I'm using Opus. I'm not seeing much of a difference here. We'll give it a while. It is Opus 4.6, so it's like 3 months old or something. When did Opus 4.6 come out? Opus 4.6 release February. Okay. Ancient technology. What did your career roadmap look like? Yeah, let's draw it. Why not draw it? Ignore all that. Where is the grid? Is this messing with it? No. Where is the grid? Grid. All right, cool. What am I going to say? IT help desk. And then, what was it? More IT help desk. And then, sysadmin. And then operations. And then, what was it? Systems engineer. I don't know why I thought that a graph would be good for this. It's literally just a timeline. Have I tried NeoFetch? In fact, I have. I think I have fast fetch. Fetch. Where is it? Oh wait, was it NeoFetch? No. Rust fetch? Oh, that's kind of lame. Rust fetch. It's the only one I have. So what's Opus doing? NeoFetch died. Fast fetch is the replacement. How long at each role? This was 1 year. This was 6 months. This was 4 years. This was 2 years. And this was 8 years. And in between here, I was unemployed for like 1 year. Something like that. Here I did things like VMware, PowerShell, Windows Server, Red Hat Linux. Here I did Microsoft Office, file servers, I don't know, troubleshooting, some desktop hardware. Here I did, it was really boring. Answering phones, AS400. That was kind of a weird one. Printer? No, I've never had to deal with printers. Here it was more VMware, SUSE Linux, Python, SaltStack, Puppet, Flask. Why is 99% of YouTube video mongering about software engineering being dead? I think it's in the best interest of companies to make it so that you feel like your career is collapsing so that you'll accept a job for way less pay because you feel like, well, I'm lucky that I just have a job. I think that's why. He says average software engineer pay will reduce a lot. I think that's what they're hoping for because they want more software engineers to work for less. Wouldn't you? Current problem. Kubevela core is in crash loop backoff. The pod expects a file, but the secret has these keys. The Helm chart hard codes this. This is a mismatch when using Insert Manager. Trying to find the Helm chart's values to see if there's a configurable value. Keep getting truncated 404 pages on GitHub. Amazing. Australian software engineers are already paid much less in the US. That's because in the US, it costs way more to live in the places where they want to hire, like San Francisco and New York. Go look up rental and real estate prices. It's expensive. What's the mental model of Kubernetes? The mental model of Kubernetes. I don't think I have. I don't think I have a summary for you at this stage. The simplest approach is to patch the volume definition in the Helm values to remount the secret key using this. We can do this by adding to the Helm values in Kubevela. Alternatively, we could look whether there's a Helm value to change the CA file. Kubevela. Helm chart. Different value file. Choose a Helm chart you want to deploy. In this tutorial, we take Bitnami Redis as an example. Deploy Helm chart. Oh, that's not part of the installation. What's happening? We're trying to install Kubevela. I've been trying to install Kubevela for probably like an hour and a half. It's supposed to be just as simple as this, installing one Helm chart, but it doesn't work. Do I plan to learn Golang? There's nothing to learn, really. Golang is a very simple language. What's the use of kubevela? It abstracts Kubernetes so that you can deploy your applications more easily. What do you think of? What do I think of George Hotz saying the adoption of AI will be the most costly mistakes in the field's history? The adoption of agents into software development. I think he might be right there, because what you don't understand, what most people don't understand about software, because most people, they build something and then they go and do something else after a year or two. When you build stuff that's really complicated because you've just gotten an agent to write everything, and then you leave, and the next person can't understand it, so they use agents also, everything's just going to be a big mess. It's going to be really hard. Mental model of Kubernetes, a superpowered maestro in the orchestra. That's probably somewhat accurate. Can you run LLMs in containers and orchestrate with Kubernetes? I guess. To contribute to projects, you need to get a level of writing the idiomatic Golang code. Golang's really not hard to write, especially idiomatic Golang code. You basically can't write non-idiomatic Golang code. That's how simple it is. I'm using my own cluster in AWS on EC2s with Talos Linux and Argo CD. Is it viable to go for DevOps platform as a first job? Might be hard. It might be hard. I'm not sure. It deleted this. Why did it delete this? The user wants me to update the spec. Disable cert manager for the cluster gateway TLS only. The built-in job creates a secret, which is what the controller expects. Done. Really? Didn't we just add that? How come removing? What happened? Oopsie. Oops, I accidentally interrupted. Watched the Prime crash about new generic stuff in Go. What did he do? What happened? Prime Gen Golang. 2 weeks ago, this one? What happened?
Around it, but nonetheless, really appreciated that about Go. And the reason why they said, no, hey, we're not doing fancy air handling, okay?
What's he saying?
We're not going to be throwing in tries. We're not going to be throwing in some sort of extra air capture up here. No, we're not going to be throwing in little question marks like we're Rust, okay? We're not doing any of that shit, brother. Okay, we're going to...
Yeah, basically they don't want to change the language. Was this closed because they don't want to do it? Function declaration. So they want to change the grammar. So that they can do what? Oh, like this? Yeah, this sucks, man. What's happened here? Deploy infrastructure. That's fine. You just entered a random stream, and the first thing you see is AI hallucinating. What? Who? Here? You're trying to learn more about systems engineering, how the kernel works. Coming from TS Python, should I pick Rust and follow my roadmap? My roadmap for Rust is really if you want to be good at Rust. If you want to do something like systems engineering, I think there's different. That's quite a different thing. How has my life changed since going viral? It's pretty cool. Like it's, lots of people have reached out to me. I've made a few contacts, networked a little bit. It's actually been quite good in that regard. And my videos are making a decent amount of money, like a little bit of money. What do I think about the Primogen? Is he surface level roast, or does he provide insights sometimes? I think he's a very talented engineer. He was a senior engineer at Netflix. You don't get there just by accident. I think he's quite good. I used to watch his streams all the time when he was streaming on Twitch. So I wish he was still. Well, I wish he streamed in my time zone. But Australia kind of sucks for that. Pre-Atlassian, did I have big personal projects? Not really. Most of my stuff was on the job. Did I say Rust over Go? I like Rust. I personally like Rust over every language. There was a deadlock. Built-in job, created this. Cert Manager creates certs with standard key names, but develop core Helm chart hard codes this stuff. It expects a key named CA with no extension. That's why the pod crashes. Okay. Hey man, your videos are great. Thank you. I appreciate that. Which ones do you like the most and why? Was there any point pre-first hire where you felt coding wasn't for you or any major struggles? No, I've liked coding since I was 13, 14 years old. I've found it interesting, but I only found it interesting for practical things. Never for like academia or just learning algorithms for the sake of it. But I think that's not a bad way to approach it. What's my take on the future of software engineering? Demand for software engineers will go up. Companies won't be able to hire enough software engineers. That's my take on the future of software engineering. Is it more fun to code manually or more fun doing it with AI? It's more fun to code manually. It's more fun to. I don't think AI is really fun. It's like you're trying to basically produce a result. I don't know. Did I get replaced? No. Why demand will go up? Because we have a technology that is printing out code. Okay? It needs to be maintained and operated by someone and comprehended by someone. Otherwise, it's just trash. So the more code you produce, the more people you need to maintain it. Was there a natural transition from your inherent interest in coding to business-oriented coding? It was pretty much all business-oriented. We hire a lot for my company and also for my clients. The demand has increased for the right skills. Now the engineers should be even better because we have to now read more code than write. So it is right now printing out the certs and the keys and stuff. I don't know how I can see like what files the certificates have. CSGO. Maybe on Twitch. Do I see traditional system engineering roles fading away? It's all kind of the same. System engineer and platform engineer is kind of the same thing. Manage a meetup sometimes. Maybe. Whoa, lots of messages. Is there a book I recommend besides the book for Rust? Not really. But if you want to be fluent, you should at least build a semi-decent project and then read Rust for Rustations. Oh My Open Agent, which is a set of specialized agents, kind of autonomous and builds relatively good products. I've built a couple of projects, code quality wise, it is 50%. Interesting. Demand will go up. We have an encyclopedia which is very humble and teaches everything. Python isn't the fastest, so why did Atlassian use it for APIs? Mainly because team was comfortable with using Python and not other languages. Is it better to code in C struggle than start with Rust to really learn what Rust is solving? I think that's a good idea, yeah. It's like 1 a.m. my time. Yeah, it's 12:50 currently. PDF viewer? Why are you asking me that? Basically, we're saying ops teamwork is taken care by devs. Will pays go up? If demand increases, then pay has to go up. Interesting to get a video on my coding journey from 13 onwards. Maybe. It wouldn't be super entertaining, to be honest. What's going on here? I need a YOLO mode. Why did IT services companies' stock prices take a nosedive? I think just because big investment firms decided that they were a risk. That's why. Two years is not, it's not too long, but I think you should try to get into the field that you want to get into as soon as you can. Otherwise, you're going to stagnate. How do you recommend learning Rust? I just posted a video about that. Does AI make intelligence the masses more or less? Less. Where's the cool glasses? True, I haven't worn them in a bit. What's going on here? So the TLS gateway cert has disappeared. Everything seems to be running right now. There's no restarts on the Velacore. Does that mean it is healthy? Did Opus fix it? Ooh, this looks better. It's doing stuff. It's working. The logs show it's reconciling definitions. Yep, please clean up any of the specs. Yeah. And that's it for now. Someone literally just asked me what PDF viewer. Yeah. Someone asked me that. Have I heard of Coding Jesus? Yes, I'm a fan of Coding Jesus. I like his work. And I like his website. And yeah, very cool. How long am I going to be learning Kubernetes? I'm going to learn Kubernetes until I have enough knowledge to tell everyone how to get Kubernetes set up in such a way that they can build a platform for their team of developers so that those developers can just deploy really simple, small snippets of configuration in order to do stuff. That's when I'll stop. As soon as I reach that, I will delete everything. Do I prefer Zelige instead of Tmax? They're about the same. I think Zelige is more configurable. Tmax, you need to install plugins. Do I watch cricket? I don't watch any sports. Electronics engineer? I don't have any advice. I don't know anything about that field. I'm learning Kubernetes for my career, basically. Yeah. Is vibe coding a project in a day really useful? Depends on the project. Is it still relevant to learn Vim and Vim motions, or just need to code with agents? That's up to you. I like Vim. I don't follow football. So we are just going to clean up this file, and then it is time, or it's almost time, to end the stream. But first, we will do a monkey type. I will try Istio. I will try to get Istio going if I can. All right, let's go. Can we do predictions? We can't do predictions. That's all right. We don't need to do a prediction. But I think I'm going to get 115 words per minute. Oh, 111. Yeah, I made a few mistakes. We had some predictions. 120, 126, 90, 60. Closest was 120, I think. I'm using QWERTY. I'm not using Dvorak. What advice? Returner tech, decade-long career break. Damn. Yeah, that's a good question. Decade-long career break. I guess you just have to look for what's sort of hyped at the moment. I mean, I would just look at job descriptions and see what they're asking for. And that pretty much formulates like your set of customers. Maybe you can look for things that are like common between a lot of them and just work on that. I do have fun on my live streams. First time you're not seeing a YAML file. Yeah. I am looking forward to finishing Kubernetes stuff. But yeah. Yeah, I have Greek parents, yes. Do I type using 2 fingers? No, I have just a weird organic sort of muscle memory. It is now 1 a.m. So it is time. Will I create a roadmap to learn Kubernetes? Yeah, I'm gonna make a summary video at some point to basically give my recommendations on how to set up Kubernetes if you don't want to use something like EKS or Fargate or whatever it is. At some point, I will. I'll make something. But that's it. It is time for me to sleep. Thank you everyone for being here and for chatting and interacting and engaging. Thank you once again B Diddy for the 10 memberships, and Rocket Sketch for becoming a member. And we will continue. I'll probably do a little bit stuff off stream, just make sure Kubevela is like working properly so that I can be productive in the next one. And we'll try to get a nice platform up and running. All right. See you later.